Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 18 of season 2 of our F1 2020 My Team career mode, where today we're here back for the Japanese Grand Prix. Now I'll be honest, this is actually attempt 2 at recording this video. I got most of the way through practice, did all the intro, everything like that, and then I had a power cut, so really hoping that I don't get another one here in the UK at the moment. It seems to either the earth is melting or yeah, we just don't seem to have any power at any point anymore. So yeah, here we are though, back ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. 5 races to go of the season, and it is getting really spicy at the front of the field. Just 20 points separate myself and Valtteri Bottas at the top of the championship. 6 drivers are still within a mathematical chance of winning this year's crown. However, realistically, it's only really a 2-horse race now between myself and Valtteri. 3 teams as well can theoretically win the Constructors, but I'd be very surprised if Mercedes didn't win it at the end of the day. But there will be spoilers in 3, 2, 1 now. Last time out, we got our second 1-2 in a row for the team, so we come into this weekend on a bit of a hot streak at the moment, both myself and George Russell. So fingers crossed, maybe there's another 1-2 on the cars today. We just need to focus on keep taking points, out of Valtteri Bottas here. 5 races to go. We just need to try and beat him in every single one and then see if that's enough to take home the crown at the end of Season 2. But yeah, Japan, one of the AI's best tracks as well, so it is going to be a little bit difficult. Let's dive into this then, ready, here in Japan. Here we go then, jumping straight into Q2 for the Japanese Grand Prix. Obviously Q1 really wasn't anything all too difficult. This is again a track that really does suit us, obviously quite chassis and aero orientated. Still a few high-speed straights as we get a little bit loose and lively out of the final corner. But yeah, we should be right on the money this weekend. George Russell in Q1 once again was looking very strong, 4 tenths clear of any of the other cars. But yeah, hopefully if we can just try and get a lap hooked up, we probably want to be looking close to the 24s. Going in towards the Casio Triangle then to finish off our first Q2 run. I'm hoping we can just try and make it through nice and safely on this run. At the final corner, give ourselves the shortest run to the line. It's going to be a 25.5. 2 tenths off our teammate George Russell on mediums. How else he managed that? Fair play, George. But yeah, we should be through safely into Q3 then. George Russell is actually, I think, engaged God mode this weekend there. A 25.2 on mediums. Only him and Bottas sneaking through into Q3 on the alternate strategy there. So that will certainly be exciting to see how that pans out in the Grand Prix. But Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Ocon, Norris, Raikkonen and Lance Stroll all making the cut as well. No big surprises, I don't really think, from qualifying. I don't think, no, neither Red Bull even made it into Q2 then. That is probably, yeah, the biggest surprise so far. Here we go then, ready for our first run in Q3. A much tidier run onto the lap than we were able to secure in Q2. But hopefully, yeah, we can just try and get a lap nailed up. We definitely want to be looking towards the 24s if we want to at least be close to challenge George. But hopefully, maybe a 1-2 in qualifying is on the cards. I don't think we've had that at any point this series. A bit of a mistake through Spoon as we head now down in towards the final few corners of this lap. We should be about, yeah, we're 2 tenths off on Lando Norris at the moment. He's had an alright little qualifying session up there in P6 currently. But we need to try and nail these final couple of corners. Make sure we get good traction off the exit. Down towards the finish line once again. Nice clean run. It's going to be a 25.1. 3.5 tenths off our teammate George. But we are comfortably into P2. What a car we have got underneath us. Here we go then, ready for our final flying lap around the Japanese Suzuka circuit. We do need to try and nail this one because Hamilton is only a few thousandths off us at the moment. But at the final corner, let's see if we can at least try and get close to George. A 24 is probably going to be the aim here. Whether we're going to be able to get it or not, we will find out in about 85 seconds. Down in towards turn 1. Just seems so insane how late you can get on the brakes nowadays in this car. Roll on the power nice and tidily on the exit. Want to take a little bit of curb through a couple of the S's, but don't want to take too much. Avoid the back end over-rotating round on you. Just keep it nice and tidy. Through the exit. Oh, no. That's our qualifying over and done with then, but luckily we haven't hit anything, which is always a good thing. So there we are then, qualifying done and dusted, and is our teammate George Russell on pole by 0.3 of a second. Hamilton just edged us out right at the very end to go into P2, ahead of myself there, so a British 1, 2, 3. I genuinely can't remember the last time we saw one nation get the top 3 in a qualifying, so let me know that stat down in the comments below. I'm sure one of you is probably aware of that. But Verstappen in fourth ahead of Ocon, Bottas, Raikkonen. Bottas, yeah, not having a good qualifying session. Obviously, he'll start the race on medium, so he might go backwards off the start. But Raikkonen and Vettel, Norris and Stroll rounds out the top 10 there. Renault seem to be there or thereabouts on the money this weekend as well, so maybe they'll spring a surprise. But yeah, 1-3 on the grid. Hopefully, we can convert that into a 1-2 when the race is done. Let's dive in then here for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today. Great penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. George Russell will begin today's event from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, and Raikkonen, Vettel, Norris, Stroll, and Charles Leclerc, Perez, Kvyat, Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen, Magnussen, Gasly, Nick de Vries, and Daniel Ricciardo, Albon, Matsushita, King, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here we are then on the grid, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. The third race in a row, one of our cars starts from pole position here. And yet we still haven't had a front row lockout at any point. In terms of strategy, I want to try the soft medium strategy. It might be a bit difficult though to make it work here, but we're going to give it a whirl. You know, we need to try and do something to get around Bottas and our teammate George Russell here. We're going to have to be very, very aggressive on the opening lap. You know, George and I, we've had a couple of sort of, let's call it scuffles in recent weeks. So today we just need a nice clean showing. Try and bag another one too, at the very least. But yeah, we do desperately need a win here. We can't always be the bridesmaid, especially when we've got a World Championship to battle for. But we're ready then on the grid. Round 18 of the season, 5 to go. 20 points in it between myself and Bottas. It is all still definitely up for grabs here. But we're ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. The 5 lights are going to be coming on now then here at the infamous Suzuka circuit. It's 5 red lights and it's lights out, and away we go. Off to a good little start in the end. Not too sure what happened to the audio. Apologies for that one as Ocon tries to have a look up the inside into turn 1. But we do hold it around the outside of the Renault man. Hamilton, though, straight up into the lead. Starting, obviously, on those soft compounded tyres there. George Russell didn't quite have the grip on the getaway, but we have survived the start. That's the most important thing. As we head through the exit of the S's, we need to stick close to our teammate if we want to try and get round him. Early on in this Grand Prix, however, down in through Sector 2, through the Degners, a little bit loose, a little bit leery. But we do hold on. Yeah, Renault looking rather fast this weekend, it appears. So they might be able to apply a bit of pressure to us as we run way too deep into the hairpin. Should be able to get the power, though, down on the exit. And we do hold on to P3. Not the best start in the world, but it could have been worse. End of lap 1, it appears Hamilton is trying to do what Bottas did last week and just make a bit of a breakaway from ourselves and our teammate, as we're just struggling to hit apexes at the moment through the first couple of corners. But we got to remember last time it did end up working alright for us, because this car on race pace It just takes a couple of laps for us to settle into a rhythm, I feel like. But yeah, we just need to try and get past George. As already, you can just see there, struggling a bit with the dirty air. End of lap 3, we have managed to stay in the DRS of our teammate George Russell here, but Hamilton just trying to pull away a bit of a gap in the early stages of this race. I apologise as to probably just how much wheel audio is going through, but Suzuka is an old school circuit. It's bumpy. Learn to accept that. Coming towards the end of lap 5, I really do feel like if we had the opportunity, I would be onto the team asking them to swap positions at the moment because we are just losing so much time behind George. You can see Ocon and Bottas haven't even lost any ground to us at the moment. That's just how much we're stuck behind our teammate. We make big gains down in towards the Casio Triangle. We're a lot closer than we have been at any other stage this race, so maybe now we can try and get a run on him down in towards turn 1. Obviously, we can't afford to take any big risks with our teammate based on our championship position, but we should be able to get a good run on him. Why are you going defensive on us, George? Come on, just play together, man. Down in towards turn 1, though, we are finally round our teammate. Now, let's see if we can close up the gap to Hamilton. Oh, we got yellow flags out. It's a racing point off the track by the looks of it. Is it Perez or is it Stroll? VSC. Doesn't really change much in this race. There we go, green flag racing once again here from Suzuka. Hamilton 2.4 up the road at the moment. Let's see if we can get that down. However, we are on a slightly different strategy to the Mercedes driver. We basically need to try and cover off from Russell and Bottas in this Grand Prix. So if we can make the soft mediums work, we should be in a good position. Unless, of course, Hamilton comes out of nowhere and does the same. There we go. Now we're starting to fly in this Grand Prix. Nearly a second taking out Hamilton on that lap, so we've definitely got some good pace still in the car. The race pace that I spoke about at the start finally starting to come back towards us. Feels almost like a carbon copy of the Russian GP last time out in terms of, it gets to about, yeah, lap 8, lap 9, and then we've got a lot of pace over the Mercedes. Coming towards the end of lap 9, I'm really intrigued to see what Hamilton does in terms of strategy here, because he has been able to take those softs a little bit longer than I was expecting the Mercedes to do. As soon as I say that, there he goes, into the pit lane. So Hamilton is now in. We're going to try and go one lap longer here, and then pit onto a set of mediums. So we've now back into a 1-2. Ocon's dived it in as well. Hamilton's onto a set of hards, though, as we make a hash of turn 1. But we need to be careful not to get undercut, like we did last week, because that ultimately was what screwed us. Coming in towards 130R then to finish off lap 10. We're going to use all of our ERS that we can do on this lap. We've got so much now available in the car. Get it down into lean mix as we head through the Casio Triangle for the final time on these tyres. They're definitely feeling a little bit dead. Let's make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidily into the pits. There we go. So now Russell is going to head out into the lead. Bottas is right in hot pursuit. Behind him, we got Charles Leclerc staying out another lap on those soft compounded tyres, so he's clearly trying to stretch him as far as possible. But we've got a gaggle of cars, a couple of Red Bulls and a Haas. Come on, get in gear. What are you doing? We are, I think, going to get jumped by Hamilton, or Hamilton, sorry, is going to stay out ahead of us here. So it's really not what we need. As you can see now, he's trying to make a move on someone, but we are just, only just, going to head out, stay out ahead of Ricciardo here, as Hamilton gets past Magnussen just in front of us, side by side into the S's. But the Mercedes man holds firm. We need to try and close up quickly. Really hasn't taken us long before all over the back of K-Mag here. Obviously, Haas car doesn't really have much race pace at the moment, but who would have thought Red Bull would be struggling so much around this circuit? Let's see if we can try and get the power down. Don't really want to shred this rubber if I can avoid doing that in the early stages of the stint, but we are going to get a bit of a run on K-Mag as we head down in towards Spoon. A bit of a lunge, but he gives us the room. A very, very aggressive move, but that's sort of the only way you can with K-Mag. And we're past him up into 7th again. Hamilton just 1 second in front of us. There we go, one of the Red Bulls into the pits as we head out the final corner to start lap 12. We've got a bit more grip and pace than Hamilton at the moment as we gain in towards turn 1, 215 miles an hour in towards that first corner. But it is now just Bottas and Russell that are still out ahead of the pair of us at the moment. So this should be a battle for the net lead. But you never quite know what those guys are going to be able to do in the latter stages of this race. We need to try and get round Hamilton though, just for a bit of extra safety. But to get a bit of a run on Lewis Hamilton as we head down in towards 130R here. He's using a lot of the ERS as well. Our teammates into the pits. We're going to gain right at the wrong point, but we are going to move to the outside as we head down into the Casio Triangle around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Thank you very much. Oh, God. A lot of curb on the exit. That's going to ruin our run. As soon as we say that, Hamilton gets back past us. Neither of us have ended up with the ERS here. Oh, sorry, the DRS, I should say. We're both going to stay out ahead, though, of our teammate and Valtteri Bottas. But round the outside of Hamilton, he does tag us. Hamilton almost goes round. A fantastic job to hold on to it. But we make the move work, and that is surely a very, very clear message to Lewis Hamilton. We're more than happy to try and hook it up around the outside through turn 1 at Suzuka. A Raikkonen-style move. And just like Raikkonen, it's for the lead. Worried about points at the moment, that I am going to try and actually go for the fastest lap next time round here of Suzuka. So we were purple actually throughout most of the last lap. We only missed out on our PB by about a tenth of a second after we made the mistake at the final corner. So we're going to go for a full attack lap here of Suzuka circuit then. We probably want to be looking at a low 28, I think, if we want to be able to try and bag that fastest lap bonus point. That run through turn 1 is certainly not going to help us, but it does allow us to get good traction off the exit into the S's. Nice and tidily, just getting close to those apexes without clipping them all too much. Down into 4th gear. Try and get it rotated through off the exit. We'll use a little bit of ERS as we head up out of Dunlop. We've still got half a lap of spare fuel as well. We are purple in Sector 1, half a second up on my PB. Things you love to see. Not getting the best run out of the second Degner, but we won't worry about that all too much as we head now down in through the hairpin. Try and get good clean traction off the exit of there. Once again, there's not too many big traction zones around this circuit, but the ones there are really, really critical to getting a good lap around this circuit. Brake just at the 50-meter board into Spoon. Ooh, just a little bit late through the second part there. That won't have helped us out as we take way too much curb on the exit. The gap to Hamilton, though, up to about 3 seconds now. So we are still doing well on that front. We'll save ourselves a little bit of ERS as we come down in towards the final couple of corners. Still about half second up on my previous lap. Brake just at the 100 board. Chuck it into the Casio Triangle. It's really satisfying when you get it hooked up. Take as much curb as you dare out of the final corner. Try not to run out of ERS. We've just about done so. But a 28.1, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Hopefully that stands. Into the 27s, albeit only just, but a 27 is a 27. 11 laps to go then, here from Suzuka. We have just got to be a little bit careful that we keep the tyres in good nick. But we've got a 4-sec gap over Hamilton. Russell is still right behind him. Bottas seems to have just dropped off a little bit from the pair of them. So at the moment, if the race were to finish right now, the gap will be down to just 6 points between myself and Valtteri. There we go, another new fast lap of the Grand Prix. We're just trying to build up a little bit of safety still. Well, I should probably be careful that we don't shred these tyres, because I'm sure Hamilton and our teammate are ready to pounce if needed. Bottas, though, once again, looks like he gets to about about 10 laps to go over Grand Prix, and then really starts to struggle in that Mercedes. No idea why, but it just seems to be a bit of a common occurrence at the moment, and it's giving me a golden opportunity to take some big points out of him. To lap 24, George Russell has finally made a move work on Lewis Hamilton for P2 in this Grand Prix. I'll be honest, it probably shouldn't make a huge world of difference in the long term, but I just want to believe there's a slim chance we can close up to Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship as well. Plus, you know, it'd be nice to have another one too on the cards. It does seem quite funny that we went from having none ever in Formula 1 to potentially now getting 3 in a row. Just the way Formula 1 works sometimes. You get into a roll, some momentum builds your way, and hopefully we're becoming a bit unstoppable. If we can't wrap up both titles this year, hopefully this sends a good message to Mercedes. Season 3, we're going to be coming at you, boys. Ooh, on to lap 26. I've just spotted something on the graphics. Ocon now has done us a bit of a favour and has also now been able to get around Valtteri Bottas, so it has all gone wrong for the Finn here at Suzuka. Perhaps it's just, not a track he likes particularly, perhaps. Or maybe just Mercedes cracking a bit under the pressure as well. But that could be another critical couple of points in the championship. It's so tight between Bottas and myself at the moment that every point really does matter here. We got just over a lap to go, though. Let's try and bring this thing to the flag for, I think, what would be our first victory since the French Grand Prix. What, 9 races ago, I think? Here we go then, on to the final lap from the Japanese Grand Prix. It really has been a good little race for ourselves. Strategy didn't quite pan out at the start. We probably should have been a little bit more aggressive and, yeah, got a better getaway. But once we got round our teammate George Russell, things just started to fall into place. We took a bit of a risk with the strategy, but to be honest, it's not been even as risky as I thought it would be at the end of the day. That's not helpful. On the final lap of the Grand Prix, don't do that, Matt. Just bring it home now, bring it to the flag. But yeah, it really just has been a day where everything has fallen into place for us. Finally, starting to get a few more races like that at the moment. But yeah, everything is just working for the team at the moment. We just got to keep at it. We've got to remember these days as well, because if we do get rule changes for Season 3, maybe we'll be on the back foot just a little bit in the early races of the World Championship. But we've got to enjoy it whilst we can at the moment. In through Spoon, one final time then here for the Japanese Grand Prix. It looks like it's once again going to be our third 1-2 in a row for this team. Can anyone stop us as we head in towards the Americas for the final, for 3 of the final 4 races of the season before we head to Abu Dhabi, in towards the Casio Triangle for the final time. It's going to be our first win in the 9 races, if I'm not mistaken. We win here at the iconic Suzuka circuit. Get in there!
They've done it then, here at Suzuka. A brilliant win on this beloved figure-of-8 circuit. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium. So let's review the updated driver standings. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
There's a few contenders, but George Russell definitely stood out, I think. A really solid drive from him today, and one I'm sure the fans enjoyed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So there we are then, the end of the Japanese Grand Prix and a British 1-2-3 like we saw from qualifying. Again, let me know when the last time that ever happened in Formula One. I think it might have been Germany that were able to do it, but I could be wrong. It might be England as well there. But yeah, I'm not too sure how George Russell got Anthony Davidson's driver of the day. We were able to start behind him and finish ahead of him. So maybe Ant just doesn't like me at the moment. But unfortunately, Ocon nabbed fastest lap right at the very end there. George actually set an identical lap time to myself. So that goes to show just how much we were both able to get out of the car there. With Hamilton just edging us out in P3 as well. That Ocon fourth with that fastest lap, like I said. And then our title rival, Bottas, down in 5th place. Not the day that he wanted. That is definitely for sure there. Vettel in 6th, Norris in 7th, Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz rounding out the top 10 there. So 4 Brits inside the top 7. Things you love to see there. No really big surprises as well further down the field. Raikkonen dropping out from 6th down to 13th at the end of the day there. Both Red Bulls 14th and 15th made up places in that Grand Prix. And everyone able to make it to the flag there. The 2 Canadians of Stroll and Latifi finishing last and second to last there. And yeah, Matsushita at his first ever Grand Prix, not much to write home about in P17. But championship-wise, though, 5 points now between myself and Valtteri Bottas. It is now, though, just a 5-horse battle for the World Championship. George Russell, you are out of it, my friend. There is nothing you can do in the final few races this year. The Hamilton 50 points back, Verstappen 81 and Vettel 89. So realistically, after the next race, unless Verstappen gets a bit of a worldie, he and Vettel are probably both going to be out of it as well. But Ocon moves back past Charles Leclerc as sort of that second of best of the rest there. Sergio Perez has pretty much got that on lockdown at this stage of the year there. And then Lando Norris jumps back past Alex Albon as well. Tied now on points on 30, but Lando with better results at the end of the day there. We're just 68 points behind Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. It's a big gap to try and fill in just 4 races between now and the end of the season. We'd need, what, 17 points a week, which is optimistic, to say the least, but we're going to give it our best shot nonetheless. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you get yourself subscribed, and yeah, we will hopefully be back tomorrow ready for the US Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.